park opening. Okay, that's it for me for now. So I'm going to pass it on to John Rippon for the site analysis.
So let me just do a quick introduction to John, so everybody will understand. So what we did as a way to expedite the process, we decided to find the best architect that we can to build this park. And I think that all of you people who know parts of the city would agree that Walter Haas Park is one of the most wonderful, beautifully designed parks of the city. So we just went to who made that park and found John, who was very passionate about what we're trying to do and was willing to help us get there in the fastest and the lowest cost possible. And I think we're very fortunate to work with John, and I think that the way we do it is that we hire him and get his work to the city to get there with lowest cost and faster, so we can take advantage of the additional budget and so on. So please, John.
Well, thank you. I'm John Rippon, CEO of Green Landscape Architects. And I just brought some pictures, some examples of some work that we did in the lead up to Walter Haas Park. Just for anyone that's not familiar with a process like this, where we started with an understanding of the site and the context, then we looked at views and climate and security and other issues, vegetation. We came up with a concept plan. This concept plan was then brought forward to the commission, and then we were able to continue on developing the park further, and it gives us an opportunity to do maybe some pretty color sketches, which we like to do, and a little sketch of the playground, and then that was developed into construction documents, these more detailed drawings, including all the surfaces and walls and fences and all that kind of good stuff, prime materials, irrigation, and then of course the dead and translates into which is here. Maybe at the end of the meeting you can walk up and take a look. But we're focusing on the Franklin Square Park, and I'm sure you all know because this is just a simple diagram of the city streets. This is Franklin Square Park, and we have anywhere from 8 to 12 blocks are the closest outdoor playground type facilities, and there's not a lot of them. So this park really has to serve a lot of people, and it's really a valuable asset in this area. So what I wanted to do is give you some observations in a real simple site analysis, and it helps everyone kind of understand the influences of the park. This is the soccer field up here. This is 17, Bryant, and the current play area is right here. And you can envision the playground as being this particular spot, but you could also envision the playground, in a larger area, larger context. And so to be objective and to stand back, to kind of put out of your mind what's there now and look ahead at what it could be, that's when it gets exciting. And I think that's what we're going to try to foster and then refine, and then work into some logical budgets and try to frame this thing in a way that it can actually be built. So the conditions around the perimeter are this existing concrete wall. Of course, there's a staircase here, there's a staircase here. There's an accessible ramp that comes up on the 17th into this pathway. This pathway is at a 5% slope, which means it can function for wheelchairs without a handrail. And then there's a flat section in here. And that's clearly where the playground currently is developed, in this kind of flat zone. And we know there's this wall here. And I put this purple here to emphasize the fact that this part of the playground area really has no visibility from the perimeter. The only way you can only see in here being here. It's very kind of back and private and secluded, and I think that's probably an issue. And given also the population of the park. Well, I think in general, in a public park setting, it's beneficial or helpful to have people that walk by or drive by have visibility into the playground areas, so they can be monitored kind of without more casually monitored, so that they're seen. There's not invisible spots, private, protected places where you wouldn't expect someone perhaps to be, and so everything's a little bit more exposed. And that was an important aspect of the Walter Haas Park, and in terms of the shaping of the contours and positioning the place of equipment, and the fact that the play areas rise in elevation, so that from 2 vantage points from far away you can see the entire playground, while in a previous iteration of the park, about half the playground was invisible, and they had, there was a feeling of insecurity being in this. So that's something we can discuss, but it's probably my bias right off. And then this, of course, is not entirely objective. It seems that there is the opportunity that we have some underutilized areas here, here, and here. So if there was to be some expansion, there is certainly expansion potential in that direction. There's defined this sort of orange dash line, and that's rather arbitrary, but it's about the logical extreme of the areas that we could probably consider. Currently, there's a bank, a slope that comes across here, and it comes across there, and it's flattened out a little bit more. So as you go by, you're aware of that slight slope, and then the gentle gradient across here. The prevailing wind is coming up over the Muni parking area, and it's probably fairly constant, which is an unfortunate thing, but I don't know what you can really do about that. Of course, there's the soccer field, and there's the tall wall with the fence above it, and which is probably not an issue from the soccer field, but it's certainly an issue from below, because you're very aware of that wall. So I think that's just general observations about the park. We can move on to begin to talk about